Welcome to the I Ching Cafe. My name is Belinda Dowston, and it is wonderful that you are here. I'm very grateful to have you. If you are new to the channel or you're coming back to be with me again, I am very grateful for your presence here today. Thank you for taking time out for your development, which is what we are all here to do. This is our weekly I Ching forecast with week commencing the 19th of May 2025. And as you know, we always dip our heads back into the week before to see what we learned, reflect on what the I Ching was bringing us. And we were working with Hexagram 64 before completion, that last push for the summit, the night before the big event, the big day, realizing that that last push is really important, the steps we take, the focus that we keep, making sure we put one foot in front of the other and not rushing to finish this last bit is really important. We had 3 changing lines, bringing us lots of learning around putting on the handbrakes and getting the helpers in, being hyper-focused, and then going, and then realizing that there's some aspect we need to retreat from in Hexagram 33, learning how to pull back from things that are not right for us. And perhaps after the last push for the summit that we were making in the Hexagram 64, we needed to take a little bit of time out to recuperate. So if there was anything that came up for you, please do share a comment. We love you to have your comments, always is. Okay, so this week, what are we paying attention to? Well, our first hexagram is going to come and bring us a washing clear of our consciousness because it is back, hexagram 29, the Abysmal. Okay, this is the doubling of water. We had this a few weeks ago, last month, and it was quite a week. Okay, so this hexagram brings the opportunity of learning how to be like water, dealing with challenges that come at us, because we can't stop them. We can't stop not just the challenges, but the opportunities that present themselves. We can't stop them. What we have to do is we have to learn how to be like water, how we flow out through the valley, how we go around problems. Okay, be like water, shape-shifting, right? We don't get caught up and stuck. We flow, we flow, we flow. And of course, I've explained many times before that when we are in this ravine and we hear the flash flood coming upstream, oh yes, the urge is to climb as quickly as you can and hold on for dear life to the side of the canyon wall. This is not going to work, okay, because the water will take us. It is stronger. What we have to do is we have to use the energy of water. At the right time, we let go of the cliff, we let the water take us, and we let this huge forward motion surge us forward, because that is the payoff. If we can learn how to tap into this moment, how to master our fear, how to let go and let the water take us forward, of how to navigate through this challenge, we can land up when all the churn is finished and things calm down. We're streaks ahead of where we were. But if we try and cling on to the walls, cling on to what we know, cling on to the old, stay too stuck in particular ways of thinking, we are going to get trapped. Now, this week we have 2 changing lines, and they are both in very tricky positions. We have changing line 3, which we had before, and we have changing line 6. I would say that every single changing line in this hexagram is troublesome, but these 2 in particular are difficult because they're at the top of both trigrams. Okay, so let's deal with them. Changing line 3 is familiar to you if you've been around last month when we had this hexagram. This was the one of making sure we don't say yes to things that seem simple, but they're much bigger than we think. And we can land up taking ourselves into the bottom of the pit, into a fatal diversion. Is it coming back to you now? Fatal diversion. Okay, don't you just love the grandiose drama of I Ching language? Okay, so what we're being asked to do is be very cautious of things we say yes to. Okay, so this water is pumping, the energy is pumping in the midst of this flow, and we're going down the stream. What we don't do is we don't invite even more challenge. And there's something in our environment where we could say yes to something and we haven't had the insight to understand it truly. There's part of this picture we don't understand, and we say yes to something, and what we discover is it's this overwhelming thing that just, it's beyond what we can handle. So this week, I know that I keep saying about this hexagram is about letting go and dealing with the fear and flowing with the water, but we also don't need to make it more complex, more difficult than it already is. And both changing lines are saying, stop doing this. Okay, stop doing that. No. Stop saying yes to something you don't understand. Stop going in the midst of all this noise and stuff, starting new things. Okay, these are the types of things we need to challenge ourselves on. Be very tuned into where the offers come, where you haven't done the homework, the due diligence, and you're just saying yes, because like, well, let's go with the flow. There's particular things we do need to say no to because they can be a fatal diversion. How do you manage something that does not take all your time and attention and lead you down a hole that makes it very, very difficult to achieve anything out of it? Okay, what might be a diversion in your life at this time that could be overwhelming if it was much bigger than what you thought it was? And opportunities that come, or the things that are on your dashboard, what if they require far more out of you than you thought? What would happen? What would be the consequences? And how do you mitigate those risks? That's how we work with Changing Line 3. Changing Line 6, the ultimate disaster movie, Changing Line 6. This line says, if you don't stop doing what you're doing and going down these pathways, if you don't change your behavior or the way that you're thinking or the way that you are dealing with this particular situation, calamity. You will not be able to climb back up of this problem for 3 years. Okay, so that's trying to show you the gravity of what this line is trying to bring us. Now, it's very easy to go into total paranoia about a line like this. Okay, I battle it when I look at these hexagrams and I do the prep work and I think, this just seems like the end of the world for everybody. Okay. What it's saying to us is it's really a huge red caution flag. Caution, caution, caution. Stop what you are doing. Okay, that is undermining your ability to function, your ability to live, your ability to move forward. Stop the patterns that keep on pushing you down to the bottom of the abyss. All right, whether that's emotional patterns, mental patterns, habits, physical things, doing and not doing. What could this thing be for us this week? And all we need to do is have it in our mind, have this little red flag, okay, and look at how we're engaging in the world around us and think about this red flag. What could it be? What are the things that are undermining, sabotaging what we're trying to do, all right? And stop that behavior before it's too late. Okay, because the cycle of time it takes to recover from those decisions is a long period. Talk about 3 years. It's not necessarily 3 years. What they're trying to show is that there's a big impact of making the same mistake over and over and over. And the best way you can deal with this line is to be very clear on when you have made the same mistakes over and over and over. What were those mistakes? Okay, what led you into the pit that you couldn't get out of that pit for an extended period of time? What has been your previous experience of things you said yes to or things you didn't say no to, the way that you approach things that put you into a pit? Okay, and stop doing those things. 2 very tough caution lines this week as we work with the I Ching. Goodness me. So with that energy in mind, let us move into our second hexagram, which works in parallel, works in flow with the first. And because we have 2 changing lines that are in a mirror image position, we also have a doubling hexagram. So a doubling of water is 29. We have a doubling of wind or wood, which is 57, the gentle. Okay, the gentle wind, the gentle wood that grows through the ground. This is the hexagram of how we nurture and support things around us. How we are the gentle breeze that doesn't peter out or sometimes blow, sometimes not blow, that's persevering. The support we bring of moving things forward a grain of sand at a time. How we have those sand dunes that shimmy across the land, okay, because the sand is being blown by the wind, okay, gently, 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 gently. And so we get this progress by being unrelenting in supporting and putting our arms around the situation and gathering everything in and moving everything along and bringing our energy and our care and our persevering consistency and shuffling, 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 moving things around, penetrating to the heart of things, getting to the heart of things with gentle persuasion energy. It's not a force field. It's a subtle way of weaving in and finding out what's at the core. What do we need to do? Shuffling things along. So how on earth that'll work for us in terms of these two different energies of a doubling and intensifying of water and always changing lines, potentially the chance of bringing in this wonderful supportive energy of a way of mitigating this energy of the abysmal pumping down the ravine. We bring gentle, gentle energy, right? Realizing we move mountains by moving a grain of sand at a time. And perhaps it's the idea of how we create these beautiful canyons is the water and the wind slowly working together to carve out these beautiful things we get to enjoy as we see the evolution process of the persistence of water and wind doing their magic, carving out the canyon. Think of the Grand Canyon, carving out the canyon and creating a beautiful landscape for us to enjoy. So an interesting but challenging week. We have to avoid the little pitfalls that we tend to get tripped up on over and over again. Okay, we have to get out of this pit, out of the abyss, flow like water, overcome the obstacles, and be very hyper tuned into the things that we say yes to and the things we should say no to that keep us locked in the pit. And we need to get out of that, move forward, and with gentleness and care and with real persistence, move things forward. Thank you so much for being here with me. If this was useful, valuable, you know what to do. Thumbs up, subscribe, hit the follow button if you'd like to receive the episodes as they are published. And I look forward to overcoming this abyss with you this week, overcoming myself as you overcome yourself, as we reach out into that beautiful, gentle energy of Hexagram 57, and we master this week. We master this moment together.